Welcome to LilyTube. Please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up and make sure you are subscribed to our channel. Today we're talking about Inside Out 2, a movie that has become one of the hottest topics around. We will be diving into 13-year-old Rylee's old emotions, her new emotions, and how they fight one another for control. See how all of this applies to you and your relationships after a quick word from our sponsor.
This video is sponsored by Canyon Foot and Ankle. From simple nail care to advanced trauma and reconstructive care, their podiatrists have the training and skills needed to resolve even the most complex cases. Treat your feet to the exceptional care they deserve.
Recently, we were walking to our city's 4th of July festivities this summer, and a young girl with a bunch of smoke coming from a firework type of thing that she had, it was putting out all this green smoke. And then as we got closer, it turned orange and we walked right through it. And her mom told us that the green was for Maleficent, and they were trying to figure out what villain the orange was representing. And with Inside Out 2 on my brain for this video, a moment later I turned around and I proclaimed anxiety, half wondering if the mom would even know what I was talking about. Her mom pointed at me and said, "You nailed it."
Here's what happens when anxiety is first introduced in the movie.
Orange? Who made the console orange? Okay, how can I help?
Yeah, Cathy, the color orange has become an iconic symbol of anxiety. Who wants to help Rylee enter puberty carefully weighing all her options for the future? Every tyrant in history has been utterly convinced of their own rectitude, their desire to be helpful and benevolent, and believed they were doing good. Even Satan himself wanted to guarantee that everyone would return to God and not one soul would be lost.
When anxiety meets fear, this is what she says.
Fear protects her from the scary stuff she can see, and my job is to protect her from the scary stuff she can't see. I plan for the future.
So when the scriptures refer to fear, we believe it's referring to anxiety as defined in Inside Out 2, paying avid attention to things we can't see and can't really anticipate. It can steal our joy in the present if we let it take over. So how do we prepare for the future and keep anxiety in its proper perspective? What do the scriptures teach us about fear and anxiety? God wants us to let Him guide us through what only He can see. There came a time for me where I had a lot of things I was worried about. I'd gone through a divorce, there were financial issues that were overwhelming, and I was worried about my kids, particularly my youngest. And there was so much happening that I was just worried and nervous and biting my nails off all the time. I realized through seeing a great counselor that I had achieved almost all of the success I had achieved in life up to that time by being anxious. I was worried constantly about doing poorly on tests, and so I studied like a madman and pulled all-nighters and did things like that to motivate myself, but that's fear-driven. And over time, it's exhausting, and you get to a point where you literally feel like, I would rather be a bum on the street than feel that ugly gnawing over anxiety within myself one more time. And so we have to find better ways than just being anxiety driven, because that, while it does work in the short term, it will wear you out.
And yet there's something in each of us where anxiety wants to take over.
Right?
Now that we've talked a little bit about how Rylee's new emotion, anxiety, is problematic, let's look at her old emotion, joy. Now, of course, joy means well too. This is how she tries to manage Rylee's emotions to keep her joyful.
Behold, my super high-tech Rylee protection system. Don't look, it's fine. This is for all those memories that belong in the back of the mind. We keep the best and toss the rest.
As the movie progresses, we see Rylee's belief system begin to form her core self.
And with joy and control, Rylee's core belief is, I'm a good person. But the problem with joy being in charge is we keep the best, we toss the rest.
And with anxiety in control, Rylee's core belief becomes, I'm not good enough. And the problem is shame. Eventually you can have health problems related to all the stress, and you can just feel yucky all the time. Somewhere in the middle of the movie, as joy and anxiety are fighting for control, Anxiety takes a bold stand and takes over completely, as illustrated in this clip.
You can't just bottle us up.
We are suppressed emotions!
We all have a lot of those, don't we? Suppressed emotions. I think that's when our emotions are not getting along with each other. You know, the movie has so many clever ways of bringing in the common things we're all familiar with by way of super creative imagery, depicting the dangers of sarcasm, the thought train, the brainstorms, and of course, suppressed emotions getting all bottled up. Interestingly, they had a panel of 13-year-old girls who would come to the set periodically to watch the movie as it progressed and consult with film producers, primarily to make sure there wasn't anything cringy in the way they presented the concepts in this movie.
In the end, this is the conclusion that joy and the other emotions come to.
Every emotion is good for Rylee.
So if all emotions are good for Rylee, what we learn about Rylee is that all the things are part of who she is. She's a good person and she's not good enough sometimes. She's a great friend and occasionally she's a crappy friend. The moral of this movie is understanding humanity at its finest. That when we realize it's really not our ego, our joy, our sadness, or our anxiety that define us. It's what we choose based on all of the things that we are.
From my own experience, I think we become unbalanced when anxiety takes over. And in the experience that I shared earlier, I did find that being motivated by fear helped me to become a lawyer. And it helps keep me from making mistakes as a lawyer because there's a lot of ways to mess up. And being a little bit afraid is maybe a good thing. But when it becomes overwhelming, it has the opposite effect. It can be paralyzing. It can be detrimental, seriously detrimental to your quality of life.
Well, and interestingly enough, in her old emotions, her original child emotions, she has fear, right? And anxiety comes along later and it gets the debilitating part of that fear going. Because remember, fear protects Rylee from the scary things she sees.
And the anxiety perpetuates the fear on and on.
Because it's all the things she can't see, can't predict, but wants to.
And maybe don't exist.
True. You know, one really interesting thing I noted in the movie was the difference between the highly sophisticated, even upgraded control panel for an adolescent 13-year-old girl versus Rylee as a young child before puberty. And then looking down the road, how her parents as adults moved to a much simpler panel of emotions who are just giving input, but not using much in the way of controls. For instance, here's a scene with Rylee's mom freaking out in her head about what she is seeing Rylee do, but then calmly and kindly communicating with her child. Here's a clip to illustrate.
Let the professional handle this.
I'm too gross to go to camp or anywhere ever again!
You are not gross, honey. You're just changing.
When it comes to adulting and adult relationships, being in charge of our own emotional well-being and directing that panel of emotions and behaviors is key. When we are emotionally triggered, however, we can revert to adolescence, even younger, and the control panel takes back over. This is when we recommend timeouts until the adult in you returns and takes control and you're calm enough to choose.
For our viewers, what was your favorite idea we discussed here in this video? And for those who have seen Inside Out 2, what were your takeaways? There's so much to say about this fun and complex movie, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comments.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more elevating content here on LilyTube.
Until next time, remember, it's always a great time for more love in your life. Thanks for joining us for another week on LilyTube. If you enjoy what you see, support us by liking, commenting, and sharing your favorite videos with others who could benefit.
As single life and relationship coaches, our mission is to help single adults intentionally heal from loss to create a happy life and healthy relationships. Keep coming back and we'll keep you encouraged. Each week, we provide new and refreshing perspectives on the challenges and opportunities of mid-single life.
If you'd like to immerse yourself deeper into your own personal development and relationship journey, visit our website at loveinlateryears.com for even more resources. Don't take on divorce recovery and other relationship loss and single life alone. We are here for you.